Hey everyone, it's Naomi from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's Wine Wednesday. Today I am drinking, it's by Janice, and it's the Pinot Grigio Veneto. I think I might have got this through lot 18. At first I took the first drink and I didn't really like it, but then it kind of sat on my tongue a little bit, and I like the aftertaste. So the beginning first taste that I had, I didn't love it, but it's growing on me, and I didn't have to like catch a buzz before it started tasting good. I promise. Anyway, so it is Wine Wednesday, and I should whine about something, but I decided to explain something because I think a lot of people get confused about what I'm talking about, or they just don't want to ask because maybe they're, worried about what the answer might be. But I talk a lot about my health and, why my skin breaks out occasionally and things like that, but I thought I would go into detail about it. Recently, about a year ago, a little over a year ago, my husband actually took some x-rays of my back because I was having some issues, and it ended up being that I had a small fracture on my ribs, and that's why I was in all this pain. But it also showed up something that he is actually not, his x-rays aren't even supposed to bring up, but I'm thankful that it did, because I think it definitely is helping me slow the process, and of course that's a good thing. I'm not one to go to the doctor too often unless I get a cold. I just don't really go. Of course I go for my annual, but anything else I really just don't go because I haven't really had a lot of issues. But for about 6 months I was coughing a lot at night. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and it was to the point where I couldn't breathe or anything. So I talked to my doctor about it. There was other things that I was also seeing, like when I would go up the stairs, I would be short of breath. I couldn't run, but I just put that up to, well, maybe I'm out of shape. So I didn't really put it all together until after, after speaking with the doctors and going through all the tests. So I went to see my primary care physician, and I did the spirometry test, and gosh, it's leaving me right now, but another test, a breathing test, and they came up really bad. And so they actually referred me out to a pulmonologist. And then Eric has, he works in the medical field, and he has friends that all work in the medical field, and one of his friends talked to a head pulmonologist at the University of San Francisco here in Fresno, and got me in to see him. He's one of the top doctors, and he oversees a lot of experimentations and stuff like that here. So he was the best that I could get, definitely in the area, and that goes as far as all the way up to San Francisco. Anyway, so I did a CAT scan. I did where you're in the tank and they have you do all these excruciating things, and it feels very claustrophobic, and it's horrible. They suck the air out of you. They do all these things, and it was scary the whole time because I'm also very claustrophobic. But and then I also did some blood tests. So the first thing that I found out is that I have emphysema, and I also have chronic bronchitis, and top that off with asthma. The reason why I found out that I'm having these issues is I have something called Alpha-1 deficiency, and basically there's something that my blood doesn't make. And so what it does is it starts to typically attack the liver, or it'll attack the lungs, and mine is attacking the lungs. So far there's nothing showing any damage or anything towards my liver, so that's a good sign. But basically my lungs are like a 65-year-old smoker, and I've never smoked a day in my life. And so it's very upsetting to, you know, of course, hear these things. And they told me, you know, I'm in the advanced stages and that I may have to start receiving transfusions since I don't make this thing that's for my blood, which is what, you know, protects your lungs and your liver and things like that. And so it was really hard for me to hear, especially because I'm married and I also have a little boy. And not only am I, you know, wanting to keep healthy for myself, but I'm also wanting to keep healthy for my son. I want to live. I don't want him to have a whore stepmother. Because I know my husband, he would totally. He likes blondes, obviously. I know. Anyway, so I did a lot of testing, and so they have me on a lot of medications so that I don't have to start on the transfusions, hopefully for a long time. But it is a scary thing because once you start the transfusions, you can never stop. Basically, you just die. And so that's obviously very scary to me, and I didn't want to pursue that option until I absolutely have to. But recently I went for a doctor's appointment, and I was telling them I was having a lot of problems breathing again. We had a huge fire. They're called the Rim Fire around here. You might have saw something about it on the news if you're not from around here. But the air quality was so bad that it was telling everyone to just stay inside because it wasn't good for anyone to be breathing. And, excuse me. During that time, I had a really rough time, couldn't leave the house, I couldn't do anything, and it was hard for me because I don't feel disabled, I don't feel, you know, these things until something happens like this, and it's a reminder that, you know, obviously there's something wrong with my body and it's not doing what everybody else's is doing. So they had to give me more medication. And I'm taking these steroids, which, you know, they break me out a little bit. They're making me fat. And my metabolism has basically, like, stopped. And it's really hard for me. I mean, I'm 35, so my metabolism, of course, is slowing down as I'm aging. But I was 125, and now I could easily, you know, see 160 if I'm not careful. And, you know, that's with working out, and that's with eating. Okay, let's be honest. I eat kind of crappy, but for the most part, I do eat healthy, and then but I love my sweets. And, you know, I've started doing Pilates Performer with the Performer, and that works really well for me because it's not too high impact where it affects my breathing, but it allows me to work on my muscles and things like that. But, anyway, that's kind of what I'm dealing with. So if you ever hear me say anything, that way you'll know, oh, that's what the hell she's talking about, because I don't know what she's talking about. But I don't want a pity party. I'm not looking for empathy. I just kind of want to tell people because, you know, this is something that affects people that are 75, 80 years old and that chain smoke. And I am someone that has never smoked a day in their life and has done all the right things, except for that I live in a hellhole and there's smog everywhere. But besides that, you know, I've done my part to try to make sure that these things never happen to me, and yet here I'm dealing with it. But, you know, it's just something I take day by day, and I feel great today. And that's what's weird, is that I'll feel great, and then I go in and I do my CAT scans and stuff, and then they tell me my lungs are getting worse, and I get very down and out, I get depressed, and I think a lot of people become offended by that, because I won't really talk to anyone, and you know, I'll tell people that I've made plans with, I'll cancel it, and it's not because I don't like these people, I love them, but there's just days where I get like panic attacks and anxiety from it, and I don't want to leave my house, and it's horrible. And everything in my mind says, you know, nothing's going to change. Why not just go out there? But it's easier said in my head than actually doing it. And I have started taking, you know, a low dose of anti-anxiety medication, which I think is also not helping with weight gain, but to kind of help me deal with things that are going on. I mean, it's not just me too. I have a lot of family that has recently passed away from cancer and currently have cancer. And so it's just kind of like, geez, already, can we just get a break in this family for just a second? Why, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, your evolution and how you survive. I think, everybody thinks you're so lucky to have blonde hair, but I think it's a weak gene. And I could totally be crazy, but I feel like it makes it harder. And I'm not saying that there's not a God or a higher power. I'm just saying, like, there is a possibility of evolution. And I feel like, part of survival, even with animals, is that you adapt to your surroundings. And I think that, I don't know, maybe I feel like my family has some issues with evolving into what the world is becoming or something. I don't know. I don't know for sure, because nobody really can answer why people get cancer and things. They can say, well, you can do these things to catch it early, or these might possibly, help the situation, but there's no guarantee. And so it sucks. I don't understand it. And it seems like the good people are the ones that always get sick or get cancer or have been given these death sentences. I'm not saying that I'm a good person. What I'm saying is that I know a lot of good people. I feel like I just want to be a complete asshole and a jerk and say whatever's on my mind and just be a cruddy person, because it seems like those people live till they're 180 and everybody's just waiting for them to die and they just won't die. So I feel, to me, maybe that's who I should become. That way I'll just live forever. I think that might just be the magical answer. Because you never hear like, oh, he was a jerk, I'm so glad he died. No, you always hear like, so-and-so is such a great person. I can't believe they died so soon. It's so unfortunate. Nobody said about the old grumpy person, oh, I'm so sad that they died because they were such a jerk. So that's why I really, like, I'm crazy. But just kind of pondering on things, because there's just been a lot of news in my family and stuff, and it's just hard. It's hard to hear all those things. But is that whiny enough? Don't go jump off a cliff after this, because it's been such a pleasant discussion. Anyway, thank you for watching if you made it to this point, and I hope you'll subscribe so that way you'll get notices of when I get new videos, and also leave feedback if you want me to tell me shut up, stop talking about that, or whatever. All right, I will talk to you guys later, and have a great hump day. Bye bye.